there's a lot of reeds that are like on top of the surface. So I really do wonder if this might be okay or reasonably easy to save. But if so, then I've got to have a place to plant it because those bushes have not been taken out yet.
Is this trash or recyclable?
Hi, checking in at the end of my Tuesday looking in absolute fright, but I have a reason. And I will share a little bit of footage here, like put it on the screen for you so you can see what is going on in my world today. But we had like an absolute monsoon come in last night. From what I could find online, it was anywhere from like 5 to 7 inches of rain in an hour. And like I've lived in this house for 9 years and this is just unprecedented. Like my entire backyard just filled up like a pond. Like everything is sloped towards the center and usually water drains straight down it just fine, but it was more water than it could handle. And so my backyard filled up and filled up and filled up, and then it finally reached the one window well that's kind of lower than the others. And water came into the window well, and then that filled up, and then my window broke, and then it poured into my basement. So almost the entire basement was flooded. It wasn't like, feet of water deep, but there was definitely a waterfall gushing in. And so like the lowest corner had probably like 2 to 3 inches in it, and then it tapered up. But the only thing that didn't get wet was like my storage room and then the wall where my bookshelves are. Everything else was wet, had to like have stuff moved around, dry the floors, pull up all of my vinyl plank flooring in the library, which honestly, that's the reason I went with that kind of flooring, was just in case any crazy thing like this ever happened, although I didn't think it actually ever would. But let me take you downstairs and show you the state of things. All right, I will turn the fans off when I get down there so you can actually hear me. All right, so this is what my library looks like at the moment. I really hope that we wouldn't have to do anything with this fireplace, but one of the boards, like the water got all the way up. It didn't get too bad down here, but it did like come up this little low spot here. And so the planks that were like all the way up against and actually underneath the feet of my fireplace had to come out. So we had to move it. All the furniture had to be moved. So this stack, I still need to, once this floor is finished drying, spread those out, but we had to turn all of the flooring upside down to let it start drying, and then I'll have to turn it over after a while. This was the worst corner, like it's the lowest spot, and so everything just kind of rushed in and came here and settled. So shot vac a couple of times, and I've had this big old shot fan blowing on it. And then this is the state of the rest of the chaos. Let me flip a light on. So like furniture that was from my library is in here. My son's crap, because he is like the biggest hoarder in the entire world. So I had to just like stack everything. Like we had the fans blowing through here because this is the window that broke. So this was like where all the water came. So we dried it last night. And so this morning I moved everything down here, brought all of the furniture in, tried to clear as much space as possible so I would have a place to spread out the flooring to dry. But this also, like this technically was the deepest spot, this whole back corner. Like I even brought, you can see like one of the landscape blocks is still here. I brought it down. Hold on, I got another fan going. And I lifted the washer and dryer up and stuck those under it. My mom brought down this dehumidifier. This one's mine. Fans from everywhere. One of Michael's friends. My mom brought down the shop fans. Like all of this, my wood storage, all of the extra from when we had it under construction was underneath of here. But this wall, like that's the other low point. And this is where I said on the other side of the wall it was the deepest. So it's right here. So like this whole wall has to dry out. So we've got to keep this all open. But yeah, it was a fun little mess. You get to see my basement in a complete state of chaos. Hey, look, there's the trash bags I lost earlier. Something must have been over top of them. But yeah, so this is where we're at right now. And it's probably going to be at least a good couple of weeks before I'm able to kind of get things back to normal, because obviously I'm going to have to leave fans and dehumidifiers and stuff going to make sure everything is good and dry. And then once it is, I'll need to lay all of this flooring back down. I'll need to put all the trim back up. Michael will help me, so it'll be the two of us that will do it. But definitely did not ever plan on putting the floor down twice, because that one corner, if water ever does come in, that one corner is the only place that's ever had any water in it, and that was before I replaced the gutters on the house. But I figured if I ever had to pull flooring up, it would be because that one corner needed dried out, but I never anticipated needing to actually pull up the entire floor. So this was just wild. But I really feel like I'm just done with the natural disasters, because if you've been around long enough, then you know the whole situation with the tree falling on my house in September of 2025. It like $170,000 worth of damage, and we had to move out for 5 months while everything was just completely redone on the inside. And now we have this. So let's hope that's the end of it. I don't need any more of this, but that is what's going on. That's why I didn't vlog today. But tomorrow I will be back to like some semblance of normalcy. My house, like there is stuff everywhere because I had to like move everything out of my family room. I had to try to make room in the basement. So even upstairs I have like rugs and TVs and just stuff laying around. My carport has more of this flooring in it drying out. My back patio has a bunch of crap on it drying out, like rugs and stuff. So my entire house is just chaos right now. But tomorrow we will be as back to normal as I can be until everything is dry and I can put it back together. Right now it's just going to be a matter of like flipping the flooring over and making sure it all gets good and dry and like moving fans around and stuff just to kind of maintain it. But the hard work is done. So I will see you again tomorrow. All right, welcome to meal plan time. So this week, doing that black bean salsa, it really turned out perfectly. And I would like to do something kind of similar again next week as far as like not having to cook. And so I'm going to do a Thai chopped salad. And I know I've done this one before, but it has been quite a while since I did it.
And there are a lot of ingredients in this one, but I feel like more of them are for the sauce than anything else. And I have most of that stuff here already. So I still won't have to buy very much, which is nice. But the only thing that will need cooked is the brown rice, and I can just toss that in the Instant Pot and let it cook through. So that is not even labor intensive. It's just dumping it in and pushing a couple of buttons. So that will be nice, especially after everything that just happened this week and everything that I have going on now. Because, of course, I started this pond project and there's no stopping at this point. Like, I've already removed the bush, started digging, like, it has to be completed now. It's, already in full swing. So I'll probably get back to digging some more on that tomorrow, like in the morning. But now I have this other project that I had not intended on that I have to also do, and that's putting my entire library back together again, which really stinks because after the tree fell on the house and like all of the work that we had to do with that, like the entire basement library was a project that we did ourselves anyway. It had been just a family room before, and my oldest son, who now, is in his own apartment with a roommate, but he was down there. And so now that he's out, I was able to finally turn it into the library that I wanted. But that was the project that we did ourselves, and contractors did all of the rest of the stuff. So that whole area, like we already did start to finish. The only thing contractors did was the drop ceiling and then the soffit over the ductwork that's down there because the ceiling had gotten wet, and so they paid to replace all of that. The carpet had also gotten wet that was down there before, and I got insurance money to replace that, but I didn't want to replace it with carpet. I wanted to replace it with something that's waterproof, so if something like this ever happened, I could just pull it up, dry it out, put it back down. And so the funds that we got for the carpet basically bought the flooring, but that's it. Like, there was nothing left to pay for labor to install it. So we did all of that ourselves, built out a fireplace wall, like did all of the trim work, all of that stuff we did ourselves. And so now we essentially have to do it all over again, except for like the door frames. That stuff we didn't have to tear out, but everything else pretty much had to come out and has to be put back in place. So get to do that for the second time now in just over a year. So not looking forward to that, but it's going to be a busy like next couple of weeks, I think. And the weather is also turning hot outside, so that kind of stinks for at least the pond project. I feel like I'm just kind of limited to early mornings, and I know we're at the point now, especially after all this rain that we just had, that the mosquitoes are going to be coming very quickly. And so that makes it even harder because the mosquitoes are thick like early in the mornings and in the evenings, but then in the middle of the day with the sun, it's hot. So it's like there's just no winning no matter what I do. So I really need to get to work quickly on getting that pond dug before the mosquitoes get bad, and then move back inside and get the basement done. But yeah, that's going to be life for a little while. So with that, I'm going to bid you adieu for now. We're going to hop outside and finish my lunch break in the garden. I have some green beans ready to pick and maybe some other piddling around. We'll just see what needs done out there. But I'll catch up with you in the garden.